Hey, you're just in time. I'm about to unload some lumber. While I do, let me tell you about why I need it and what I'm going to do with this lumber. Anytime we go out back, my wife gets swarmed by wood bees. She's terrified of them. That's what I'm doing with the tennis racket. They come near, I swat them into oblivion. We lived in our last home for 7 years. That was 5 years ago. It had a screened-in back porch and we thoroughly enjoyed it. We used it 9 months out of the year. Pretty much if it wasn't snowing, we were out there. It was an extra room for the house. I took measurements, then I did some mechanical drawings, came up with a plan that I like. I got the materials, and before construction begins, I'm going to prime and paint everything. The humidity is really up today. And a few years back, I put the HVAC system in the shop, followed the instructions, did it myself. It was easy to do. And boy, oh boy, am I glad that I put that in. A big part of this project is painting before I get to the woodworking. I've got to prime it, put 1 or 2 coats of paint on it, and I try to make my videos interesting so that you'll enjoy them. And there's just no way for me to make painting look great. I tried interesting camera angles. I tried dramatic music. But, it's not scraping, it's not sanding, it's not even the glamorous painting. I mean, heck, it's just primer for crying out loud. So, while we see a moment of painting, here's some dramatic music. Enjoy. I had made these post caps a year or 2 ago for the deck. I'm having to take them off on the side where the screen will go, on this end and the other end as well. Over a period of time, those posts have kind of twisted and warped a little bit. So I'm going to have to adjust those so that they will fit on after the screen goes in. For my own convenience, I set up a sawhorse out here on the deck instead of running back and forth to the shop to do the majority of the work. I'm going to use dado cuts here to make it a stronger joint. I wanted the cross rails to be lower than the deck rails in height. And since this is not an outside deck rail, I am not using as many spindles as code would call for. The spindles, which in this case are simply 2x4s cut to length, will keep the rail from warping over time. Plus, the screen will be attached to them, and that will help keep the screen rigid over time as well. Wherever it's possible, the posts are screwed in place behind other posts. It gives a cleaner finish for a more professional look in the end. Several companies offer screening systems when you're enclosing a porch. Those screening systems undoubtedly make the job go up faster, but I didn't see it as a necessity for this build. I get to thinking about my grandfather, and in his time, they didn't have screening systems. No, I imagine he would have screened it in the porch the way that I have. When I factored in the cost of using one of the screening systems versus not using it, I literally saved hundreds and hundreds of dollars on screening in our back porch. And I mentioned it was hot and humid. We have a heat index of 100 today. Well, it's starting to take shape now, and before too long we'll be putting the screen up. To mount these spindles, on the outside what I've done is used pocket hole screws to mount them. They will have a piece of trim put on over top, and you'll never see the pocket hole screws from either side. A couple of goals to keep in mind when putting the screen on: use a straight edge of the screen and keep it square to the frame. And when I start stapling, what I want to do is work in two different directions while I'm going, and stretching the screen tight as I go. I'm using 1/2 inch long staples, and I am going for overkill when I'm stapling, and I also am going in vertical and horizontal directions with the staples. I'm giving every staple a little love tap with the hammer just to make sure they're all flush when it's finished. Next, I'm going to trim the screen. I use this old hickory shop knife. I keep it in my workbench. That was my granddad's. He had it in his shop. He used it. Dad did. It's mine, and I use it too. It's kind of sentimental. It's time to cut the trim to length. It's 1x2 furring strips. I pre-painted everything. So I'm just laying those out, cutting them to length. And what I'm going to do is use a 1" by number 10 screw. They've got a shoulder on them. I've evenly spaced them so that they have a nice appearance on the outside. On our porch, because of the post that you see there to the left, it's going to wind up getting really tricky. What I'm going to have to do is assemble the parts that go in there and attach the screen before it goes up. You'll see what I mean as we go along. Here again, I'm using a dado cut for rigidity, and the posts on each side of the door are 4x4s instead of 2x4s. Here, I'm drilling a countersink hole to attach the 4x4 post. You can see right here that post is sitting so close. There's no way I can mount anything in front of it with the post there. I'm not going to take the post down. So I'm going to mount the screen to the front of that before it goes up. Before I get into that, I'm going to go ahead and complete everything that I can up to this point. Trimming the screen. Because of the way it worked out, I took the roll and I put some blue painter tape on it, and then I used a jigsaw to cut my screen wire just longer than I needed it for this section. It worked out great cutting it that way. It would be so easy for me to edit out the mistake I made and keep it to myself, but I forgot to put the dado cuts above the door. So what I had to do was put some pocket hole screws to hold that board in place, and you'll never see it when it's done. You'll see why in a minute. The door packaging has a template on the inside which shows you exactly where to drill the holes to mount the hardware. I thought that was very helpful. I chose a 36-inch wooden screen door. It was pre-painted. I just did that simply for ease. There wasn't a lot of money difference between that and one that wasn't painted. So why not? I raised the door 3/8 of an inch from the height of the deck. I did that for clearance, for variation, different seasons. The deck wood swells or it doesn't. What I'm going to do is put a door sweep on it when it's all done. Next, I need to put a door jamb on so that the door will stop at 90 degrees. The door came with a door handle, but I preferred to use an old one from Old Doors, and I mounted that on there instead of the one that came with it. Put the trim on the outside, the door sweep at the bottom, and my screened-in porch is done, and my wife is super happy. It's time to toss some hamburgers on the grill, do a victory lap, and toss out that tennis racket.